All right, this is SFBarkast. I'm Jeff Cleary.
I am Andrew Louder.
And Andrew, where are we today?
We are at the Showdown.
The Showdown. And where's that?
6th and Market, or just off of Market on 6th.
On 6th, between Market and Mission.
Right next to Toulon, which I've heard is like one of the best Vietnamese restaurants in the whole city.
Toulon Crew?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I love it when you have, like, no comeback for my stupid joke. You're just like, yeah, great.
That's affirmative. That's whatever you're talking about for you.
I'm going to get the stupid joke, my favorite stupid joke out of the way. Like, I did trivia last week at the Right Spot, and one of the questions was who wrote the book, A Farewell to Arms?
Oh.
Do you know?
Is that Somerset Maugham?
That sounds like a pop band.
Or wait, I'm thinking of something else.
But it was Ernest Hemingway.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I said
I've heard of him.
I said A Farewell to Arms. I have not I haven't read this book, but it's about Def Leppard, right? Bam! There you go. I'd give my
kaboom!
I'd give my left arm to drum for that band. I tell you that.
Anybody that doesn't like handicap jokes, you might want to just skip ahead 30 minutes.
Exactly. I'm going down my catalog. So yeah, what would you call this neighborhood?
Frightening.
A complete like fuck to shit neighborhood. No. Okay, so here we go.
A fuck to death pile of caca.
There we go. I'm sorry. I fucked up the punchline. So this would be officially maybe south of Market.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's.
I guess
know,
now it's the Twitterloin, right?
No, the Twitterloin.
Or is that further down?
Twitterloin is down by 11th and Market.
Oh,
so
you're
this
right.
Is 6th and Market. This is what I'll say. There was not too long ago, maybe 10 years ago, where I was having a conversation with somebody, and we were arguing what the worst block in San Francisco was.
Right.
And I was like, it's got to be 6th Street between Mission and Market. And things have dramatically changed. It's still got some sketch going.
Mission between 16th and 17th, we'll probably give it a run.
That was my second one.
See, yeah.
Even today, Mission between 16th and 17th.
Right.
Wow, it's
like playing hopscotch, but instead of rocks on the squares, it's like dirty needles.
That's like some fucking end of the world shit. But I remember thinking,
Children of Men getting on the boat kind of shit.
Yeah, do you like dystopia? Then go down to 16th Street.
That's right.
This neighborhood, it used to be a whole lot worse, but I feel like it's gotten I'm not going to say gentrified because you don't see people you don't see fucking couples with their stupid little babies.
San Francisco's like Manhattan at this point. I mean, it's just it's only a matter of time before this becomes sort of like Harlem is in Manhattan now. Where
so?
It's
I think this would be a very tough bill to try to gentrify this neighborhood.
But I mean, where Twitter is that was kind of a hard sell too.
That was pretty bad too. Yeah, you're right.
And
I stand corrected.
all they need is one anchor to move up here and figure out that spending all their money on double-decker buses would be and for the privilege of what being where all the sand is for the Silicon.
You're absolutely right, Andrew, because like I've said before, there are now tour groups that go up and down my fucking street, which there have been multiple murders and stabbings on my street, and now during the day there's cute young people with ukuleles playing their ukulele and talking about the history of San Francisco. I'm just like, what?
So how do they explain the burning sensation in their nostrils as they drive down your street?
Speaking of Burning Man, Andrew, why are you not at Burning Man?
Ooh, well, gosh.
This is our Labor Day Burning Man episode.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, does Burning Man take place this weekend or was it last weekend?
This is why I love Andrew. He does not even know when Burning Man is.
And my sister-in-law even worked for Burning Man, and I have no interest.
What? I don't even know you.
I said sister-in-law. There's no blood.
Okay. Oh yeah, the fucker.
She used to listen to this show. I don't know if she does anymore.
Oh shit. I can't afford to alienate any listeners.
Exactly.
Any three of you.
That's right. If we lose a listener, our overall numbers go down by 50%.
So have you ever been to Burning Man, Andrew?
No. That's an affirmative no. And you?
Nope, I haven't. People have told me multiple times.
Chris Garcia.
Dirty magazines.
Francisco Ruiz. I know like 3 or 4 cool people that go every single year.
Actually, a friend of the show, Kevin Montgomery, is there right now.
Is he now?
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
But you know what? He didn't tell anybody he was going to Burning Man. And then, and I don't, hold it against him. The thing is, this is why I like Kevin so much. He has the proper amount of shame and humiliation about the things he does. And, now he's probably out in Burning Man having a great time. People have told me to go to Burning Man. You got to see it just once because, they're like, Jeff, you complain about it so much, and you've never been, and not to quote John Bender from the Breakfast Club, but I don't know any fucking lepers. I'm not going to join any of their fucking clubs.
And you know what? There might be lepers there.
If
leprosy was going to spread anywhere in the continental United States, it would probably be at Burning Man.
In defensive leopard clubs, I heard they're pretty fun.
Hey, Molokai, Hawaii is supposed to be beautiful.
So, I've never been to Burning Man. People told me I should go, and actually, it sounds like something I would like, or at least if I was still doing stand-up comedy,
you could pretend
I would have a boatload of material to work upon.
But that's the thing is who wants to see a comedian with Burning Man material at this point?
Oh, that's true.
It's kind of
yeah.
You're sort of 12 years behind the time.
Yeah,
It's
right.
some guy coming out and being like, how about that 9/11, huh?
Yeah, got any OJ jokes for me?
Oh, you know what? Speaking of 9/11, and I had to wedge that in.
How many more shopping days till 9/11, Andrew?
Plenty.
We're getting close.
I don't know if you saw this. I think you may have even commented on it. So I think you did see this. But there was a story that I think was it I think
it was Sean Keane.
Vanity Fair. But I think Vanity Fair broke the original story, which gives me belief that it's at least partially true.
Look how cute you are, Andrew.
Well, no, I mean it's not like a TMZ or or Breitbart or something like that broke it.
This is one of those stories where it harks back to that Mark Twain quote where he's like, "Never let the truth get in the way of a good story." Go ahead.
But so according to this story, Michael Jackson, who then
Never
alive,
heard of him.
Actually, all 3 of these people are now deceased. So we can talk as much shit about it as we want. But so Michael Jackson was having a rehearsal or concert or something like that. So Elizabeth Taylor and Marlon Brando fly to New York to go see it. 9/11 happens. All the flights are grounded, and they want to get out of New York City. So the 3 of them, that's Michael Jackson, Marlon Brando, and Elizabeth Taylor, rent a car and drive aimlessly out of New York City for 2 or 3 days while everything calms down. And according to, I guess, there couldn't have been any other witnesses. So, this must have been either according to Michael Jackson or Elizabeth Taylor.
I don't care if there's witnesses or not.
But they said that Marlon Brando annoyed everybody by making them pull over and stop at every KFC and Burger King.
No.
That has to be the made-up part, but it's my favorite part.
Oh, my God.
Because even if it is made up, that means somebody read the story and was like, let's give it another hook.
First off,
let me throw a little curveball into this one.
First off, I want Charlie Kaufman to be working on the screenplay to this. And, I don't know, maybe Michelle Gondry to, direct it.
I don't know.
Or do you want to go
David
Michael
Lynch.
Bay? David Lynch?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking David Lynch and Nicolas Cage plays Marlon Brando. He gains 150 pounds for the role.
Wow. We're really close to 9/11 right now. So they're really. I think they're.
I thought you meant I thought you meant that as an analogy. This idea is so bad, it's really close to being 9/11 bad.
No. It's got to be this is there's a lot of 9/11 fan fiction out there. Let me tell you something. And you comedians out there who think that you got the chops, write a small play about this, and I swear to Xenu, it's going to fucking write itself.
You can read all about this in my fanzine called Building 7, We Hardly Knew Ye.
What about, so when they were all there together, what about Bubbles the chimp?
I think Bubbles must have been back at the ranch.
Right.
Who the hell's running the slip and slide or the Ferris wheel?
What if Michael Jackson said, hey, what about Brooke Shields and Emmanuel Lewis? And Marlon Brando's Fuck them. They're dead now.
They're dead to us. Fuck.
It's too late for them.
What are they below 14th Street? Then they're dead. They're toast.
It's too late for them. I have swallowed a bug.
Is there a KFC near here?
I have swallowed a bug, and I want some Burger King. Can somebody go inside and get me one of those Burger King crowns so everybody knows I'm legit?
Here's a Kennedy's Fried Chicken. Is that close enough? No, it's not.
I'm Marlon fucking Brando.
Get me away from that. And don't even talk to me about Famous Ray's Pizza.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's like one of those things you can't make up. That's amazing. What are you doing this weekend, Andrew, for Labor Day?
To celebrate Labor Day, I'm going to
How do you celebrate
not work.
Labor? Not work?
Yeah, there we
nice.
go. And I don't know. Well, the big there's a tube closure, and and I'm not talking about a woman that can't bear children. I'm talking about the excuse me, the tunnel between San Francisco and Oakland is closed this weekend.
You mean the BART tunnel?
Yes.
So you're saying that the tube will be packed?
The tube will be packed with workers.
Was there a porno called House Teller Got a Tube Packed?
I think so.
If there isn't, get on it. You have 7 days till 9/11. No.
Is that a Tyler Perry joint?
Last weekend I went camping, and let me tell you something. Camping always reminds me how much I love not camping.
I think we mentioned that Dana Gould bit about telling a homeless person how expensive it is to camp. And what a hassle it is.
I actually had a really good time camping. Went to Lassen Volcanic National Park.
The last time I went camping was there, and that's 11 years ago.
And according to the fellow who organized the camping trip, supposedly it is the least frequented national park in the country.
Really?
Right. And
I mean, it's sort of out in the middle of nowhere, right? It's a good 5 hours from here, right?
But here's my take. Somebody's got to be last, right?
Yeah, I guess.
This is a volcano national park. What else do we have to put dinosaurs in there to get people to go?
But the thing is, if you're going to go to Lassen, if you're already driving up that far to see a volcano, spend the extra couple hours and see Crater Lake instead. That's what I say.
Crater Lake.
Not that there's anything wrong with Lassen. Yeah, it looks good on you.
Not to correct you, Andrew, but Crater Lake is a caldera. It's not a volcano. It is a mountain that caved in on itself.
You fucking ball buster. I'll call it whatever I want.
Wait until we have Neil deGrasse Tyson on here. His head will be spinning. It's be like, did you just say that a black hole sucks? It totally does not suck. It's gravity, you assholes.
Oh, you're so stupid.
Yeah, so here's the only thing I will report from going camping, and it has nothing to do with camping. I was driving up there, and then I realized that I got a late start, and I realized I was going up there a day earlier before everybody. And then I was like, hey, in my mind, I was thinking, by the time I get up there, I'm going to have to be putting up my tent in the dark, which I don't want to do. Right. And just as I thought of that, I see an Indian casino on the side of the road.
A mystical apparition.
I damn near locked the brakes up like there was a fucking, deer in front of me. And
did Johnny Cash appear next to you in the seat of your car and be like, I think you should pull over, son?
So I went in there. I price lined a hotel, got a cheap hotel in the neighborhood. Went into the Indian casino. Before I knew it, I was up $350, and I was just fucking taking money from Indians is easy. And then I ended up walking out $200 up. And then went camping. Camping's whatever it is, it's camping. And then I realized that I was staying an extra day, and everybody there was leaving.
Right.
So then I basically looked at the map and said I'm only an hour and a half away from Reno. So
I thought you were going to say a different Indian casino, but I guess that's slightly more respectable to go to Reno than
in my mind I'm gambling was so easy at the other one. I'll just go roll down there. This is a perfect financial plan, right?
That's right. I got it figured out.
I think I was in Reno for possibly 18 hours and just got my fucking ass handed to me. I think in 4 hours I lost $400. So I ended up losing $200 total. But man, like it's like one of those like things where like this is what the casino. If I was a conspiracy theorist and I thought that I had like a tinfoil hat on and I thought the entire world was out to get me, I was like, this is they planned it this way. They planned it this way where it's like, okay, Jeff will go, he'll win $200, he'll get his confidence up, and then we will fucking kill him when he comes back. And that's exactly what happened. So
you don't hear any like Reno success stories. I feel like there's people are like, yeah, I went to Vegas and won money, but like I never hear anybody say like, yeah, I went to Reno and completely made out.
This is why. Not last time. The time before last time I was in Reno, I was like walking by, like right, very suspiciously next to the casinos. There were a lot of pawn shops.
Right.
Like I have no idea why.
Like on your way, they should just put them like in the entrance of the casino where it's like
in order, like suspiciously like a huge frequency of pawn shops right around the casinos. And I remember I was walking by one of the pawn shops, and there, prominently displayed in the window of the pawn shop, was a wheelchair. And I can only imagine where like the guy's just like, I feel a hot streak coming on. Someone carry me to the tables.
Well, I love the idea of like they should have like sort of like pawn representatives like that will roam the floors of the casino, and like so then you don't even have to get up from the table. Like you can just be like hey. How much is this ring worth? Okay, I'm back in.
Well, one of the great things that I realized, like in Reno, like this, like I was in Reno not too long ago, and like this is a new thing. I was like at the Silver Legacy, and this very attractive Asian girl comes around, and I was like, oh, I thought she was the hostess, and I like leaned over and I was about to like say what drink I wanted, and she's like, do you want a massage?
Oh.
I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh no,
What's
thanks.
in that?
And then I went back, and I started playing again, and I was like, you know what? Like, that kind of makes sense, where it's like, hey, I'm taking a bath here. Can I get some, like, rubbing action on my shoulders? Oh, this makes it feel totally better.
Oh,
now,
so relaxed that I just lost $1,000.
So relaxed. Oh, I can't pay you anymore.
It's like, oh, I don't even care that Green Bay couldn't beat the spread.
All right, you want to take a break?
Sure.
Enough of my dumb, like, debaucherous gambling stories. I love gambling, though. Oh, my God, I'm a degenerate gambler.
It's a great, like, sort of, yin-yang or whatever like that. You go up and, like, you get in touch with nature, and then you're like, yeah, fuck this. I'm going to let it all ride.
Exactly. I did, like, actually, like, I'm like that. Some of the people I've gone camping with, I think it's very telling that, like, I have friends who grew up in New York City,
right,
and they do the most camping of anyone I know. I grew up in the fucking woods, and every time I go camping, it's just a fucking abortion for me. All right, our guest is here, so let's take a break, and we'll be back.
Sweet.
All right, this is SFBarkast. We're at the Showdown.
Into the town.
All right, and we are back at the Showdown. I almost forgot that, Andrew.
Oh, don't worry. We'll play like ELO's Showdown.
Thank you. To
remind everybody.
The greatest use of that song would be in the movie Kingpin.
Ah.
At the very end, in the
That's not one of the songs
bowling
from
showdown.
Xanadu, is it? Because that could be a better use.
You think every song is in Xanadu.
Yeah, I do.
But enough of that bullshit. We have our guest here, Josh Hullub.
Hey.
One of my favorite new young San Francisco comics.
Hey, look at me.
I'm not saying that just because you showed up and I didn't think you would.
You didn't think I was going to come?
No, I thought you would.
Okay.
Of course.
I have nothing better to do, Jeff. So.
Jeff has very low self-esteem, though.
Josh,
he assumes that.
Would you mind like telling like the listeners that you had to cancel a bunch of shit because you're so busy that
you're right.
Yeah, there we go.
And you're important to me.
The last thing I want to hear.
Damn it, I made time. Fucking Jimmy Kimmel can wait.
Yeah, the last thing I want to hear on SFBarkast is like, yeah, I'm the guest. I had nothing better to do.
Well, I feel like doing this is really going to up my status in the San Francisco comedy scene. You know, better bookings, better shows.
Speaking
it was
of
either this or sit at the end of the bar in this same place.
I would probably just be here anyway.
He's like, what, is that a real microphone? I thought it was a toy. But speaking of the San Francisco comedy scene, you run a comedy show in this very bar.
I do, yeah. Well, I run it started as an open mic that I do with friends every Tuesday night, which is just merely an excuse for me to get drunk with my friends more so than
Oh, that is the
and
greatest.
It's also it's an open mic as well.
That is the second greatest motivation, I think, in human history.
It's also a good motivation for starting a podcast.
That's right. You
I
guys,
know not what you speak of.
I can feel like I can see how this is going to work now. We have the right motives.
I feel
life.
like,
Exactly.
like I said,
Completely selfish.
I feel like that's the second most prevalent motivation to do anything in human history. You know what number one is?
Sex.
To impress a girl.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I feel like at some point, like even Hitler was like, "But I invaded Poland for you."
Did you see the tanks? I did that for you with bombed France.
So how long have you been doing your open? Okay, so it was an open mic, and now it's like a showcase.
We still do an open mic here. And I also run a monthly showcase, the first Wednesday of every month here as well. So I've basically taken over this bar in terms of comedy and events. All the comedy shows that are here now are basically run through
So
me.
wait, what days of the week are they? Like Tuesdays is your
Every Tuesday we
is
do
an
an
open
open
mic?
mic, which is a late night. It doesn't start till around 9:30, 10 o'clock, or whenever we feel like it. And then the first Wednesday of every month, it's a really fun show. We just did one 2 days ago here, and we packed the place out. And I just grabbed 3 friends who I think are really funny, and I just let them do a long format set. So,
Really?
you do 15 minutes, 20 minutes, in and out. The place is packed. It's been going really well. I'm really
good.
proud of it because this is as you can tell, it's a weird bar in a weird area.
It's not a good setup. It's a very long bar.
Yes.
And
Like, where do they put the comedians?
Well, there's the stage, as you can see in the corner. So we're in the back of the bar. I don't know.
Oh, so wait, so that's lying on its side.
Yeah,
so it just
it's
flops
lit
out.
up.
Oh, okay.
Caleb, my roommate / bartender / manager here, he helped construct that, and he's a master at. He fixed the sound because they do live music here.
Yeah.
They'll do. They have DJ battles and rap battles and
Really?
comedy.
Like
they
on their
do weird-
website, they list this place as an urban DJ saloon,
Really?
which is like it's borderline annoying, but it's I'm gonna let it pass. Otherwise throwing 3 sort of random buzzwords together like that, I would.
Do you remember when
I would
urban
call
used to
bullshit
mean-
on, but
remember when urban used to mean black?
Yeah. Urban. It's a little too urban over there on 6th Street. I'm afraid
Exactly.
to
It's
go
like
over
code.
there.
It's like this dog whistle code.
It's like you have to do the quotations with your fingers when you say
oh,
it.
these like Philadelphia black people in brightly colored suits walking in here. Like, I heard it was an urban night. God damn it!
We're here for the urban night.
where can I check my cane?
Son of a bitch.
When
When
I was-
white people in here.
When I was working for Zappos, we had to come up with these categories. This is the worst story about that type of categorization. But it's we had one category that was all urban
Really?
shit. So it's lugs and all this supposedly
Yeah.
urban shoes. And I told people, I was like, yeah, I don't think we should call it urban. This is not a good idea. And so then they went back to the drawing board and they came back and they changed the category to South Side.
South Side?
So it's
I
just
don't
vague
understand
enough.
that, yeah.
Which is still very racist, especially if you're from Chicago. It's
Right.
oh yeah, that's where all the black people are.
Yeah, let's describe this as something that's one of the most racially divided areas of the country. Let's call it 8 Mile.
Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh,
Martin Luther King Boulevard,
Yes.
Jr.
Yeah.
Shoes.
Rosa Parks
Shoes.
Boulevard.
What?
Let's just call it back of the bus and just be done with it. Really? I mean, come on.
so Josh, what's the weirdest thing how long have you been doing this open mic
Here at this bar? Well, I've been coming to this bar since I moved to San Francisco a year and a half ago. This is actually the first bar I went into when I moved here, when I still lived in Oakland, because I was walking by and I heard a metal band in here. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I went in here, and I became friendly with the bartender, and then we're now roommates. So I've been living in this neighborhood for almost a year, and we've been doing the open mic about 6-7 months. And the comedy showcase used to be run by a feller named Ron Chapman, who you might know.
Ron
And
Chapman.
He's
Oh yeah, I know that
he's
guy.
a local urban comic here in the San Francisco comedy scene. And he was doing the show.
don't follow
but
you.
He's a Southside
He's
comedian.
Southside comic here in San Francisco. And he was doing the show, and he would come and hang out as well. And he's since moved on. He's doing sketch and improv, and he's acting now. So he kind of passed the show on to me, and
I saw him for the first time like 2 weeks ago. He's really funny.
Yeah, he's great. He was at Sketchfest last year, and he's doing commercials now and stuff. He's great. I love the guy.
So one of the things I love, like I run an open mic as well, as you know.
Yes.
And one of the things I love about open mics is that you see shit that you would never see at like the Punchline. If you go to the Punchline, even if you see somebody who's like eating it, they've been doing it for quite some time.
Right.
But at an open mic,
At least know how to chew their food and eat, rather than just like get pelted with food.
But at an open mic, you see stuff that is just wow. You're just like whoa. Like I'm never gonna. It's like a fucking like freak show or a circus act.
Well, you're fascinated with like their thought process of like how they like. You're just trying to get inside of their head, like to figure out like what was it that they thought would get a laugh out of this.
Yeah, no. Where does their reasoning for thinking that people would find their
Like,
story about getting their penis stuck in a pickle jar?
Like, did their cat
or something?
Did their cat laugh at it or
Yeah.
something? Like,
First time comedians are always usually more storyteller based. The worst thing I hate seeing is college bro try to do comedy for the first time, because it's always a story about how they got really drunk and did something, and there's no
Can't believe
punchline
it.
or anything.
I got drunk once.
Yeah, I know. It's like, really? We all have stories like
I
that.
fucking told this cop to shove it.
Yeah,
Next thing
punched
I
a
know,
cop.
I'm fucking in jail. Can you believe it? How come
Who
you-
would have thought? I'm hilarious.
Fucking Obama's America. Peace out.
My favorite when I was doing Annie's Social Club was when the economy hit the skids in 2008. We had a bunch of like people who were like, you know
Down
what,
on the
I want to try comedy for the first time, and like my favorite were we got a bunch of teachers that came through, and they were like, you go on stage
no.
and then just fucking eat it, and then like get off stage, and I'm like, hey man, just like hang in there. Like I don't know what's up with that. Like my students love that material.
They need a grade.
It's like, dude, like, yeah, your students like want a fucking good grade.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like-
They're going to laugh. You have a captivated audience already.
and also, I feel like there are people like yourself, Josh, who are like very funny, and you're working on like being like a stand-up comic.
It's hard.
But then there are people who are like kind of like, you know, dipping their toe in the water, and then there are people who are like legitimately, possibly mentally ill.
Yes.
And like, you know, their whole thing is like, wait a minute, I talk into this like microphone and my voice comes out of these speakers. This is amazing.
It's the equivalent of the guy on the corner of the street with a megaphone telling you that, you know, the God hates fags people or something like that. Where they're like, Jesus does not approve of this blasphemy and you are outgoing, you sinners, repent. It's people like that, but they come to open mics.
Do you get a lot of those?
Well, we're here on beautiful 6th Street, as you can tell, so... And it's
Scenic.
more of a party atmosphere, so it is inviting for more of the crazier types to come in here, which we're kind of trying to get away from a little bit because we're starting to get a little bit of an audience to come in here just so we can be a better show. Sometimes it's fun to get the crazy people to come on stage, but speaking of like crazy things, just last month we had a guy who was a 6th Street guy, just a local vagrant. He came in here and we gave him a set. And he was missing a leg. He had a metal leg.
Already, it's funny.
It was he insisted I play Tupac music over his whole set because we do music cues, because that's another thing is people don't know how much time they do. So if you can play music to let them know that they're done, that's very very helpful.
If he was
tip
missing
to
an
have.
arm, he would ask for you to play Def Leppard.
Yes, that's right. And he would have played the drums. That would have been amazing. But
No more pinball for that guy.
So he did the set here, and it was weird, but okay. But a couple days later, a friend forwarded one of these videos, these police videos that are going around of, you know, it's like, did the police go too far? It was cell phone camera. And it was that guy getting held down by about 7 to 10 San Francisco police officers right here in front of the Civic Center BART station.
That's a bad set, by the way.
It
They're like,
was-
yeah, hey, you know what? Just a little advice to you, up and coming comics: don't run the light.
Oh, no. I am not going to touch that.
It's like, thanks for the constructive criticism, officer.
Everybody's a critic. Now I'm going to jail.
Everyone's a critic.
Wow, that's great. Wait, I'm gonna bounce. We're gonna talk about sports because like one of the things like Josh, I already love you, but I love the fact that you work for Sports Talk Radio.
Yeah, we've had a couple drunken conversations already. I think at Doc's or somewhere,
Right.
talking about like college basketball from the 1980s or something.
Oh, I could go on and on for
Do
that.
you want
know
to
way
take? Do
too
you want
much
to take a
about
quick
that
break?
stuff.
We're gonna take a quick break, but let me give you a trivia question because
Ooh,
like
the
my trivia
ponder
night
gig.
was last Wednesday.
Okay.
So let me get you a good trivia question. How about a little trivia music there, Paul?
That sounds like horse racing music to me. And
I'll give you the music, the movie question. Oh, by the way, the best name for a team last Wednesday night was Unpainted Huffines
what was
Wait,
that?
Unpainted Huffines from Raising Arizona.
from Raising
Oh.
Arizona. And initially I didn't get it. I was like, Unpainted Huffines? And I mispronounced it. And he goes, it's Huffines. I was like, oh. And then suddenly everything like fell into place. And I was like, you watch your butt. And then I was just like, it's a great, it's a reference to Raising Arizona.
Like chairs,
Yes.
you got a dinette set. No chairs,
chairs
you got
you
dick.
Awesome. Okay, so who were the directors of these three movies? Don't answer because I know you'll probably get it.
All right, whatever.
Dazed and Confused,
Okay. Richard Linklater.
Nice.
Dick Linklater,
Dink Linklater. All right.
not Dink, Dick.
Dick.
Castaway,
Castaway was Steven Spielberg.
close though.
Yeah, remarkably close, probably, just because like
Really? It was like
feel like
Cameron Crowe or something.
it was Zemeckis, wasn't
Bob
it?
Zemeckis.
Yeah.
Oh, Robert Zemeckis. Bobby Z.
Bobby Z,
The legend of Bobby Z.
and the last one, A Beautiful Mind.
A Beautiful Mind.
Oh, I have no idea who did that.
Oh, that's got to be like an Artur type of director.
Like
I-
Sam
how-
Mendes or
Oh,
something.
was it
How-
Ang Lee?
How fucking when you said that must be an auteur director, I'm like, how wrong you are. they're all Hollywood.
Why is it Richard Rodriguez or something?
Yeah, it's Quentin Tarantino.
Is a
Who? I
a
don't
little
know.
up and coming scamp called Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. Oh,
Fuck that guy.
he did a beautiful
A
night.
Beautiful Mind. Yes.
Wow.
Like
A Beautiful
oh, you know
Mind.
what? You know why I didn't get that is because
Give me your excuses why you didn't get that, Andrew.
I was confusing that with the Cumberbatch movie, the Imitation Game or whatever it's called.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like I don't know.
All
those
these
two
British
movies-
Totally-
movies, they all sound the same to me.
Totally
like
different decades, but
some-
whatever.
yeah.
All right,
Hey,
this-
it's the end of preseason football. A lot of cuts are being made today.
a lot of
A
cuts
lot
are
of
being
cuts are
made.
going to be made in this podcast.
Save it. Save it, rub it up. Because like I don't want to start like that's a whole can of fucking worms. All right, this is SFBarkast. We'll be back from the Showdown. All right, and we are back at the Showdown.
You
The
almost
sho-
forgot again.
I know exactly. You know,
gonna
like
be a showdown.
You know what? Because like people don't know. I was having so much fun like hanging out with you, like in between the segments. That like, fuck my phone. That like yeah, I forgot the name of the place that we're at.
We just did a whole podcast in between those two segments.
I know, we were like, but we yes, exactly. Well, a whole podcast that nobody would want to listen to.
Yeah. It was a bit sports nerdery, but
Hey, we're gonna get into the sports nerdery like very soon. But let me give you one more trivia question before we start in on that. Okay.
Fire away.
are these trivia questions that you used this week at your trivia night?
At the trivia night, yes,
They're
exactly.
used trivia questions. Like,
Exactly.
They're
Like,
not new, they're not new in mint condition.
they are you, yeah, but some
Vintage.
of these
They are not new
these
in
trivia,
box.
some of these trivia questions were only owned by a little old lady in Pasadena. So
I found
like,
them in a box in a garage.
Okay. According to the latest Quinnipiac University poll of Republican voters, and you know we all read the Quinnipiac University polls.
Oh,
Connecticut.
absolutely.
It is
That's how
in
I
Connecticut.
start my day every day.
Donald Trump is in the lead with 28%. What Republican candidate is number 2 with 12%?
Oh, it's the guy from the South Side, the black guy.
Dr.
What's
Ben.
It
What's
is-
his name? Ben Carson.
It is-
Dr.
yeah,
Dr. Ben
yes,
Carson.
You're right.
Which
Is that
sounds
who it is?
totally made up. That sounds like the most
know.
made up doctor name
It
ever.
seems like it sounds like a Huxtable. You know?
So like I mean I don't think we have that many like Republican listeners, but like if you are a Republican listener, just write to us and tell us what the fuck is going on with your party. Donald Trump and Ben Carson, like if Josh, if you were a serious candidate, like if you were Rubio or Bush or Walker, all of which I hate, would you just be like, what the fuck? What is this clown car shit going on here in front of me?
I don't really like quoting other comedians, but
Go right ahead.
John Oliver said something on his show last week where it was, he said he's not going to talk about Trump because right now there's two people that haven't even met, and they can father a child, and it'll be born when the Republicans have to make their nominations because it's over 18 months
you're right.
away.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's still so early in it to really put too much credence into it because things will happen. It's good that it's annoying that we have to hear about it so much and it's still so far away, but it's good that they're getting all the crazy people out in the early, so it gives them enough time to screw up.
Wait, you don't think it takes 18 months to gestate a child, do you?
Well, I forget.
It's actually
I
less than 18 months now. It's like 13 months now, right? No, it's like 10.
Just the way that it was phrased, it was like
it's like 14 months. You could have 2 children in 18 months.
Yeah, there you go.
You could have 2 children in 9 months if you do it right.
I
could
don't know
have 20
if
children in the next 18 months if I
it's
did
probably
it right.
only a year.
Who are you, Sean Kemp?
Sean Kemp? Is Sean Kemp notorious for having a lot of kids?
Yeah, he does.
I did not know that.
I think he has maybe like 12 or 13 kids from like 12 or 13.
He was a big fat guy too. We were talking about
Towards
fat
the end.
athletes
Fat,
during the break. We were talking about fat athletes. We
Right, exactly. Well, okay, this brings us to our sports conversation, our sports segment. So, Drew Harmon, you can just tune out for about 15 minutes.
He doesn't listen anymore.
Yes. Sean Kemp was a big fat guy.
He wasn't at the beginning.
He was a great basketball player to begin with. When he got really big, he also got busted for coke. And I remember somebody saying to me, I thought you were supposed to get thin when you were doing a bunch of blow.
Yeah, I'm always how do you become fat and on coke and on heroin? It never really made.
Oh, is that your? Okay, so here we go. Hot sports takes.
Oh, hot sports takes coming at you.
Hot takes.
Let's do it like ESPN style, pardon the interruption. Just
do that.
Really
Start the clock.
Yeah.
do your radio voice.
All right. Well, I have a couple of them. But, I could do my serious voice, which is more just like this, what I would do on the radio. But then I can also do an announcer voice. So what do you guys? Let's get into it. We're going to talk sports. We got 3 topics in 3 minutes. Let's put time on the board and let's talk about it. First topic, let's talk about Tom Brady.
What time does Fast and Furious 7 play?
Yeah, what about your serious voice? Wait a minute, just announced that that John Daly has died.
It's been a long time since I've even cared.
John Daly is dead.
John Daly is dead.
I remember when John Candy died, and I saw what's his name, the television announcer just go, John. In sad news today, John Candy died, too fat, and then they just rolled the credits. It's very weird.
That's terrible.
It's a terrible thing for Dan Rather to do.
Totally unprofessional.
Completely, I can't believe he didn't get any more shit.
Okay, so it was Dan Rather. So you sure he didn't do some sort of homespun he's deader than three gophers in a coal mine or whatever.
He could not fit into the casket.
So Deflategate, you want to get in this? Okay.
I'll gladly talk about it. To me, it's an open and shut thing.
Okay, so for anybody who does not live on planet Foxborough,
I just want to give Jeff credit for waiting more than half an hour to mention this because this is probably the biggest thing that New England has had to gloat about since.
When I walked into this bar,
so
Jeff didn't even say hi. He just said Deflategate, and then he shook my hand.
So if people don't know, Tom Brady went to court and won his court case, and now he is no longer suspended for the first 4 games
now
of the season.
He is governor of Massachusetts somehow.
And people on Sports Talk Radio, where Josh works, not where you work, but in other Sports Talk Radio, they've been debating what is the greatest thing that has ever happened to Boston. The Boston Tea Party, the American Revolution,
or Deflategate,
or the invention of bronzer,
the invention of bronzer. So here we go. Brady basically. I've been doing my victory dance for the last 2 days, okay? But the thing I fucking hate the most is ESPN sent all of the fucking hacks that they had who were talking shit about Brady home. The only one that they had on air yesterday was Mark Schlereth, and he was just like, I can't believe this. The league has been so weakened by this decision. And then like
Well,
listening
they
to
kind of have been, but they were wrong in the first place. So.
But yeah, they really sort of overstepped their bounds. It seems like. I mean, like
That's to me, that's all it is. It was there's no reason for a 4-game suspension for something that may or may not have happened. As silly as a ball being a little underdeflated, it's really just so egregious on the NFL to. Look, the NFL, I think, is doing a terrible job of running the league in the past year and a half. Roger Goodell seriously needs to be fired. He screwed up the Ray Rice thing. There's been issue after issue, the concussion thing. And this is just, it seems like him just trying to be an authoritative figure, letting people know that he can do whatever he wants because I'm the commissioner of the NFL. But it's a kid's game, all right?
Yeah,
like, don't take it so seriously.
Well, it's clear that like Roger Goodell like has like this. This sports mentality of like, well, I'm the boss. Like, if I can do what I say, and like, he's dealing with like attorneys all day now. And like, basically the attorneys are like running circles around him and like, pulling his pants down and pointing at him.
Well, the only people who were like on the NFL, like the NFL side during
Who?
this, like Roger Cossack.
I don't even know who that is.
He's an ESPN like legal analyst who's been getting a lot of work recently. But like he was saying, his big thing is that like, well, you signed the collective bargaining agreement, and it said that like, the commissioner would have like the final say on discipline issues, and basically what the judge said was that like, yeah, like even though you signed that, it doesn't give him like carte blanche to like be unfair.
Sure.
And it would be like saying like, okay, like I hired you, Josh, and in your contract it says you wouldn't be late. And if you're a little bit late and I'm the commissioner, I get to fuck your wife. maybe I'm taking it a little bit too far there.
I get what you're saying.
But it's like, yeah, like I get
Can
to
we change it to make love to my wife?
Yeah. You know, to be so direct about it, Jeff. Jesus.
Well, I haven't met your wife yet.
Well, I don't have one, but hopefully I'll meet one soon because I am so alone.
Well, once you do, you owe me one because I'm the commissioner.
I feel like there must be a PR team that works inside the NFL brass that has convinced Roger Goodell and the head office of the NFL that any publicity is good publicity. When, in my opinion, the NFL is the biggest sport in America, possibly the world outside of international soccer, real football as some would call it, that they just like to be in the spotlight even when it's, because this is, every year there's something that keeps the NFL in the news during the off season, whether it was a Ray Rice thing or Adrian Peterson during the season, and it was Deflategate this year, and it just seemed so egregious on so many levels. It just seemed like an attempt for the NFL to be in the news for something that to me did not matter one bit. Every time I would hear ESPN or where I work or anyone else talk about it, it was always an eye roll to me because it was such a non-issue. When the team who he beat, Peyton Manning, his friend, said that he doesn't think that had anything to do with why they lost that game.
They lost by 30 points.
There's some people that they've done studies where there's some people that think an underdeflated ball would actually make it harder for you to throw the ball. So there is a legitimate argument to be made that Tom Brady was at a handicap. Harder for him to throw those
when
balls.
The actual truth is probably no one noticed the difference.
Exactly.
Where it's just like
it's so meaningless to me that the only thing that upsets me is that it's an issue in the first place.
I think like one. Are you like me? Like, let me tell you one of my like hot takes on this.
Hot takes coming at you. Second hot take on the first topic.
Hot takes
Jeff Cleary.
on the
Careful, don't touch
sevens
Tell
and
us what you
nines.
think.
These takes have been in the microwave, so please don't touch them.
One of my like takes
Fresh
on this
out of the oven.
is that like people are saying like, oh well, like everybody outside of New England knows that they're cheaters, and I was just like, but like a big part of the embarrassment of this entire 9-month bullshit of like Deflategate has to go on the Indianapolis Colts. Like, here's a team that got their ass handed to them, and they basically like conjured up like this like non-story about how they're deflating fucking footballs, which even if Tom Brady like twirled his mustache and said to the equipment manager, "Yes, manage the equipment and like bring down like it's like it wouldn't be a big deal." It's not like people are saying like it's like performance enhancing drugs. I'm like, hey, guess what? It's not. I'll deflate a ball a little bit, you deflate a ball, and I'll take steroids, and then we'll see who wins.
Look, to me, it's really easy to hate a guy who is good-looking, who wins, who's married to
Greatest
a
living
supermodel. You know, and I'm not from Boston. I'm
But
from
isn't-
Michigan, so Brady is a Michigan guy, but I try to keep bias out of. As being in sports journalism for a while now, I try to keep a biased opinion, an unbiased opinion on things like that. And I really feel like it's good-looking, successful people in America. Tom Brady is one of the best at it, that people just look for excuses to bring them down a peg.
But isn't it sad? Like,
Yes,
isn't it
it's
sad when
terrible.
people
It's
like?
awful.
I mean, like Mark Brunell was on air and he was tearing up because he thought the integrity of football was being like compromised by
to me,
Tom
it's
Brady.
the
and,
integrity.
like, they're like that guy
think he was
should
tearing
not
up
be able to
because-
go out in public anymore.
I think
Look,
he was tearing up because he couldn't win a starting job over Billy Joe Hobart at the University of Washington.
That is a good poll. Wow. You remember your quarterback battles from the late 1980s, my friend.
Or Bill Polian. Bill Polian was on ESPN and he was like talking about like, hey, if Tom Brady takes us to court, like he could be like his suspension could be in the playoffs. It's like that's absolutely like in a different universe. That's in a different like fucking like Neil deGrasse Tyson universe.
I feel like
It
the
would
only
never
thing
do
I
that.
learned from any of this is that a lot of the owners are like complaining pussies and like
They're petty.
It's like
They're
exactly,
petty.
and like
They're
they all
petty
called Roger Goodell. And they're like,
billionaires.
we think they're cheating.
No, but don't you think it-
like punish them?
My
Punish them.
football team didn't win,
I mean-
so I can't buy my sixth house on an island.
But they also kind of feel like not to sound like
Who feels sorry for these people?
Oh, well, I guess Roger Goodell's paid to.
And I
You know,
guess
like-
on the flip side, I guess who really feels sorry for Tom Brady? I can also see that argument. But
yeah, like
I'd like
you
to bring it
can't, like-
around to even to get outside of sports. Just the idea that I think in society we're starting to really try to. It's with the internet and everything. It's easier to try to peg people down a notch. There was a whole thing when Trevor Noah got hired for the Daily Show, and this new guy who got hired for SNL. Where
Yes.
every time someone gets thrown into another status, people go to their old Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Vine and try to find something embarrassing that they said 5-6 years ago to smear them. This happens every time
you know what?
someone becomes
You're-
a new celebrity now.
You're totally right. Like a lot of this has to do with social media and the internet because like information travels
It's
so
easier
fast.
to try to slander people now.
Can you
and it's becoming almost acceptable to just be a terrible person.
Can you imagine if the internet
Or
was
if-
around
on
when,
podcasts even.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Everyone's got a podcast, am I right, guys? Oh.
Can you imagine if the internet was around with like Mickey Mantle was like playing baseball? You're
Yeah.
like, I have like a photo of him like slapping a dead hooker at a Klan rally. It's like
That would be the least surprising thing. You
And
know,
back in that day, they'd be like, yawn.
they're like, let's not take this out of context.
You know, he's a good guy though. Bought me a beer.
But don't you also feel like this is like a sign of like how litigious like not to sound like a Republican candidate, but like how litigious like our society's become, where it's like, yeah, like back in the day, like not to sound like an old man, but like you either win or you lose. And like you take your medicine if you lose, and like you act like you've been there before if you win.
You hear that,
But,
American
like,
Indians?
But now, like with like the Colts, they're just like, well, they stomped us like a narc at a biker rally, but we gotta find like a way to make it seem like we would have won. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm positive.
It's all public perception.
I'm
Make it
positive
seem-
there's some Colts fans who are like, yeah, man, like we would have been in that game. And I'm positive there's some fucking Jacksonville Jaguar fans like, yeah, fucking Patriots.
Yeah, we would have won that
Like,
game,
who
week
would've-
3, meaningless, pointless game that we played against
Because like
them.
people calling into like sports talk radio, like people were saying like like talking about like yeah, well they cheated with the tuck rule. It's like no, like the tuck rule had nothing to like it was not cheating. It was like a bad rule.
Yeah,
and they
that needed
benefited
to be
from it.
changed.
And, like,
It's not their fault that a freak, insane play happened and they were on the right side of the ruling. Like, how can you blame that? Look, at the end of the day, you're not a Patriots fan, right? You're not a Boston guy.
Seahawks fan.
Yeah,
Okay.
indirectly. Like,
so
yeah,
then
but-
I could ask you, as an unbiased opinion, do you think Tom Brady is a bad person?
No, not at all.
And if you think that Tom Brady is a bad person, then I think that you have a different view of what a bad person is in the world, because that seems pretty petty and awful to me to label someone. And
he's a super competitive person.
yeah, but he's, as all rich athletes are, is they want to win. The guy's got 4 Super Bowls. He wants to win. Derek Jeter wanted to win every game he played, and everyone loves him. No, I'd imagine people in Boston are probably looking for How does Derek Jeter get away with it though? He got out of having a whole career of winning and never really had any.
Oh well,
bad.
he was very private. And the internet, well,
But he's notorious for sleeping around with women.
that's
I mean,
not a
everyone
bad
knows.
thing.
I have
mean,
a whole
he was
joke
single.
about how he had gift baskets.
Yeah.
lined
exactly.
up that
So,
he would give
maybe
to women
Maybe
that he
that's the
slept
secret
with.
is to just always be like, send thank you notes and like,
Yeah.
you know, like it takes only 5 seconds to say thank you for sucking my dick, you hooker.
I was like,
It's not that hard to thank someone for a blowjob.
I was like talking to Sean Keane recently, and he spent the whole summer in New York, and he said like, you know, New York is so filled with beautiful women, but like every once in a while you'll meet like a beautiful woman at a bar in like a Jeter jersey, and then suddenly it's like a morality play where you're like, what would I be prepared to put up with in order? I was like, dude, like, yeah, I know, like attractive women in Jeter jerseys and like Fox News anchors. It's like the hate fuck Olympics.
Does he hate the Yankees that much that
I mean, like
it's just the idea of a woman like that?
I mean,
I think yeah, you become that guy. Like if you
Okay.
walk into any situation like with that girl on your arm, I guess like you're changing your whole lifestyle at that point.
You got to be ready to throw down with a Boston fan.
the one that like stands out to me is did you guys see the movie The Wolf of Wall Street?
yes.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie, possibly one of the most attractive women in the world.
Yeah, very attractive.
She is Australian, and she does an amazingly very thick, like Long Island accent in that. And you're just like, what?
Same thing with like Jennifer Lawrence in American Hustle, same sort of thing where she's she's just like this brassy, horrible like Long Island like hideous.
The
hag.
science of it.
I like that you guys are bringing this up because this is a real coming of age moment for me. I've turned into that. It's like if you're sitting next to a woman at the bar and you know that you don't really get along with that girl, but she's attractive. Are you going to still try to hit on her? And to me, the answer is no now. It used to be, I think there was...
Okay, so how old are you?
I'm 30. I'll be 32 next week. So I think I got all of that out of my
it comes with
system.
age.
It's like the,
I think it absolutely does. I think there was about 5 years where I was single and really into doing like, all right, whatever, I'll just sleep with anything because whatever. And now it just doesn't really do it for me anymore. I really think it's an age, or maybe I'm a terrible person, which is also very possible.
Wait a minute, you're becoming a better person because like before you were like, I'll sleep with anything, and now you're just like, oh, maybe I'll think about this.
Yeah, but now I'm afraid that maybe I'm being too judgmental of people. We're like, you know what I mean? Like I think maybe it's going too far the other way. I have problems.
Oh,
right?
no,
Let's just say that.
I'm depriving people of my dick. That's what I'm doing.
It's their loss, really.
I owe it to the world. I didn't ask for this responsibility.
I am Spider-Man in the bed.
Exactly.
I just owe it. With great penis comes great. All right.
All right, one more like hot sports take. Kurt Schilling. Anyone like want to?
I'm not familiar with this story.
Okay, so Kurt Schilling.
Once again, Kurt Schilling can't get out
Oh,
of his
is
own
it the Nazi
fucking way.
tweet?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So when he was on assignment to the Little League World Series, which I fucking hate,
Yeah.
like he posted a tweet that compared Nazis and Muslims. No, or like
Like
the
terrorists
amount
or
of
something like
the
that.
amount of actually people who were like registered as Nazis in like Nazi Germany when it started, and the amount of like supposedly radical Muslims in the world. And he wrote, so how did that turn out? And then like he tried to like backtrack it by saying, I wasn't comparing Nazis and Muslims. I was like, of course you were. Like look at the fucking.
This feels like something like my Aunt Linda would like post on Facebook. Like it's not even a tweet. It's just like a picture of like,
it's like
Obama with a mean face, and it says like just a couple words on it. Like I feel like that's what Kurt Schilling's doing.
Like,
like,
he's
if-
probably had like I'm sure he's had handlers and like people that are genuinely working on his behalf tell him over and over again,
If you were
knock it off. Like all you have to do is shut up,
Yeah, I
and
know.
millions of
You
dollars
can
will
be
roll in.
You can be on TV, Kurt.
Andrew, if you were a PR handler for Kurt Schilling, like how hard would
After
that
I
job
killed
be?
myself, what would I do? I guess.
I mean, it's like
He'd be like a child, be like, give me your phone, give me your phone. You're
Yeah,
not,
exactly
you're
right.
grounded from your phone until you can show me that you can stop posting
Like, show him
racist
a picture of,
memes
like-
on the internet.
Show him a
We
picture of
talked
like
about
Adam
this.
Vinatieri and be like, who is this? What did he do right? He saved Boston and then he went away. And he didn't talk about politics
He's
ever.
the hero that Boston deserves, but not the one it needs right now.
It's not the one it deserves.
Yeah.
It's the one it needs. It reminds me, like, I went to the 2004 Red Sox victory parade, and
And of course you did.
and it was it was days before the 2004 election, right? And I honestly feel like the gods I don't believe in, they allowed me 1 full week to feel good about myself, and then
Bush got reelected.
Bush got reelected, but
Kerry, right?
in Boston's defense, which is a very democratic state, everywhere we went on the walk on the parade, people had these signs that were "Shut up, Kurt,"
Really?
because he was actively campaigning for
George
Bush. Yeah,
I do not
he's a
remember that.
massive Republican.
God, that makes me. I never really had an opinion on Kurt Schilling. I always thought he was a guy, and the blood and the sock thing, which was I didn't really care. But that is something that shouldn't bother me, but it kind of does. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I kind of don't have an opinion of Kurt Schilling, but I think he's a huge scumbag and a piece of shit.
I don't have a problem with athletes that speak their mind and musicians that speak their mind. When I think that they've done their homework and that they actually know it. If they're just forwarding bullshit and and I know they've been told not to, I'm like, you know what, you deserve everything that happens to you.
Exactly. Well, go even internet outrage. I can't get outraged at my Aunt Linda for posting something about how homeless people should take drug tests when they apply for Social Security or something, because my Aunt Linda has 3 friends on Facebook and she's just stupid and whatever. I just let her be. There's no point in poking that monster. And
she's either going to post it there or just shout it to the toilet.
Exactly. So that's it seems fruitless to get upset about that. But when you're an athlete, or a public figure, I guess this is a tough one. But I think you're right. Ultimately,
you
just
can
be a little educated with it.
You just have to know the consequences for what you do.
Well, that's the other thing.
There is consequences to free speech.
Well,
Let's get political.
That's the thing. Whereas people think that oh well, you know what, you're coming down on my free speech rights, but then you're no, there's
now you're
consequences.
coming down on my right to ignore you.
In the words of Andy Kindler, what? I'm racist to everybody, and I'm the bad guy. Free speech. Free speech.
That's a good saying. I like that.
All right, you want to take a break?
Sure.
All right, let's take a break, and we'll be back at the Showdown.
We'll talk about the World Cup of darts. No.
Oh Christ. All right, and we are back at the Showdown.
The Showdown.
The Showdown.
Right, 6th in Mission.
Andrew, what is the
6th in
greatest
Market?
showdown you've ever heard of? Wait, that's an awful question.
The best showdown? I don't know, Hagler Hearns? I don't know.
Wait a minute. In my top 20 showdowns, let me... Hagler Hearns is actually a really good one. Hagler Hearns, if people haven't seen it, it's called 8 Minutes of Fury. And if anybody had watched the last Pacquiao-Mayweather fight and liked to watch that ballroom dancing that those idiots did... And they don't like that ballroom dancing. Watch Hagler Hearns.
Tommy Hearns, right?
Tommy Hearns, from Detroit.
Yes.
We didn't even get into this.
hitman.
You're from Detroit.
I am. Yes.
Not Michael Crichton. We're talking about Tommy the Hitman Hearns.
The Hitman.
Michael Crichton
Yeah,
was
the
known
Hitman.
as the Hitman.
Great,
as well.
what a great nickname too.
The Hitman?
The Hitman. Brett the Hitman Hart, Tommy the Hitman Hearns.
You don't get to pick your own nickname, but Josh, if you could pick your own nickname, what would it be?
Oh God, I don't know. Probably just sad guy or something like that.
Worst nickname ever.
Yeah.
I would be the Hammer.
The Hammer. Jeff the Hammer Clary.
Andrew, what would you
The
be?
Professor.
The Professor.
I'm not even a professor. But
Didn't,
I think it'd be a great nickname.
What's his name? Kevin Durant. He chose his own nickname.
What is it?
It was, and nobody liked it. It was the Servant.
The Servant.
Yes,
It's terrible.
exactly.
It's the worst.
I mean, and also he was coming off.
People called the Garbage Man, or
people
I
that
guess
are-
AC Green had that.
People had already given him the nickname the Durantula. which is
perfect.
awesome,
That's
right?
perfect.
And he's like, no, I want to be known as the servant. Like, F for effort.
The only people you can get away with, like, if you're Prince. You know, that's like if you're
Right.
just such a ridiculous person, then you can get away with like Meta World Peace. So like he's just a Ron Artest.
Oh,
Meta
yeah.
World Peace.
Meta World Peace, yeah.
And then he changes it with something else, or like Old Dirty
Buy my
Bastard.
record. Or
That's
Buy
a
my
good one.
record.
But like if you're a ridiculous person, then you're allowed to have ridiculous, and you can just call yourself whatever you want. Like Prince changing his name to a symbol.
I actually heard that like Prince changed his name to a symbol because of a contract dispute
Yeah, it was
with
to
like
get out
a
of a
little
record
label.
contract.
Yeah.
He
But you
wanted
know,
because he didn't own any of that music, all Purple Rain and all that stuff. He doesn't own that.
right, but I love it when like people like change their names to like crazy like wacky stuff like World Be Free or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. oh wait, no, that last one was serious.
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
Cassius Clay is such a cool name already too.
You know what?
I know, yeah, it's true. Yeah.
At the top of like the list of like people who shouldn't have changed their names, Cassius Clay's got to be number one,
Right.
and number two was Elvis Costello, which is a very cool name. Like his name before that was like Declan McGinnis.
McManus. I think?
McManus.
Yeah.
Declan McManus.
That's a pretty cool name too.
Declan's a cool name.
But I think probably back in the in the day when he came out, having a hard like no one would have a name like Zach Galifianakis in Hollywood or as a musician, 30 years ago. But now it's just use a
Yeah,
name.
now people because we've had so much progress in social.
I was like Jeff. I think it's Jeff Ross. He said like his name at birth was like Jeff Lipschitz or something like that, and it's like which is Hebrew for you really ought to get that changed.
Jeff Ross still has my favorite like roast joke where I forget who they were roasting, but like someone on the panel was Courtney Love, and Courtney Love was just like totally fucked up and just like
Shocking.
totally sloppy. And he was like going again over the panel, and he just goes, "Courtney Love, who would have thought Kurt Cobain 10 years later would look better than you?"
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's like one of those jokes where like you think maybe she should just like grab her chest like Fred Sanford and be like, ah.
It's a great judgment call to make though, because like you're like, okay, she's too fucked up to fight me, and
Yeah,
like
no.
everyone else is so sick of her that they'll be on my side.
All right, here's some trivia questions, okay? Before we get into our final in the home stretch.
Are we in the home stretch?
We are in the home stretch.
Look at us.
Okay, which of these three Hollywood actors have only been married once?
Hollywood actors.
Hollywood
eh?
actors. Give me your like
So this isn't
Ed
your,
McMahon voice,
Yes.
or give me your radio voice. Hollywood actors.
Hollywood actors. Which of these? The question is, which one of these three Hollywood actors has only been married one time?
George Clooney, Tom Hanks, or Matthew McConaughey.
I'm gonna go with Tom Hanks. I feel like he's had the same wife for a long time.
He has, but I'm gonna go with McConaughey.
McConaughey is correct. Tom Hanks was married to somebody for a very short time in the late 70s.
Yeah. Was it like a Jack Black situation where like he's like, thanks for sticking with me throughout all the struggling years. Now, fuck off.
Is that
Exactly.
true that Jack Black did that?
I think so, I think yeah, like practically like the second he got like King Kong or something like that, he's like, see you
All right,
later.
we're
Like,
done. He's
Like,
we
we
gotta
gotta
know we've
go.
been together for
I
like
have
15
King
years.
Kong money.
You know, I can't imagine Jack Black as the first guy to do that.
Oh,
I have to imagine.
like-
I think Jim Carrey had that.
Oh yeah,
For
Jim
a
Carrey
while.
supposedly, yeah.
A lot of people had that. Just
Yeah.
Okay,
that's why I broke up with my last girlfriend. Just because I thought I was gonna happen.
because
But,
you made so much money,
yeah,
you're
but
like,
then it
Turned out it was a
never
wrong
did.
number, and like guy didn't like.
Turned out I'm still broke.
okay. According to the Guinness Book of World Records,
Ooh,
what is the best-selling annual printed book of all time?
the Guinness Book of World Records.
Guinness Book of that would if that was the answer, that would be amazing.
That is the answer. Like the
Is it really?
I got it with no answers.
It is sold
Wow, look at
130.
Anthony pulling the
130
comedic out.
It sold 130 million copies since 1955. But what I would say to that is very convenient. Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah. Like
We're on to you.
They-
who verified that?
I believe
The
they
Guinness Book of
also
World
like
Records.
said that they were the most awesomest book of all time. Two more. What are the capitals of these three countries?
All right.
Romania, Bolivia, and Libya.
Oh God, I don't know
He'll-
any of those. I literally I don't know one.
Bucharest?
Budapest.
Budapest.
No, I think it's-
Budapest.
No, Budapest is Hungary. You said Romania, right?
Oh, fuck. I'm a shitty trivia host.
I don't like this geography nonsense.
I was like, this is all like fucking
My
like
wheelhouse.
theoretical physics, right? What is Bolivia?
La Paz?
La Paz.
Nepal.
And the last one was
Libya.
Tripoli.
Tripoli.
There we go.
On the shores of Tripoli. All right, one more.
I am not a smart man.
All right.
Oh, wait, you know,
I happen to have a geography degree.
Two
but
more.
That's
This one
the
is-
only smart thing about it.
This is
You have
in,
a geology degree?
Geography. It's easier
worlds are
than geology.
dude, don't say geology. That's like saying to an astronomer, you have a astrology degree?
Cosmology degree. Wow, you're an astronaut?
Cosmo? You like to drink Cosmopolitan?
Andrew, you cannot answer this one, okay?
What is Andrew's middle name?
What is the title of Weird Al Yankovic's parody song of Madonna's Like a Virgin?
Like, do you know this one? Like,
Unfortunately, I do.
He has it on vinyl.
yeah? I
Signed
really
copy.
want to know this. Like a surgeon.
Yes, exactly,
Yes,
right.
there it
Ding,
is.
ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Make the Jamaican horn go off. All right, here's the last one. It's the tiebreaker question. Oh, no, I can't do that one. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
That's what a good host does. You know, you guys.
Okay,
just,
here we go. According to
talk
Billboard
amongst
magazine,
yourselves.
according to Billboard magazine, who were the artists with the most number one singles for these decades?
Okay.
The 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s.
Is it someone-
And let me just tell you, nobody got the 2000s.
Nobody got the 2000s.
Yeah.
When you asked
The-
these questions the last time. Yeah.
Yeah, the artist who has had the most number one singles.
I would say for the 2000s, I'm going to go Backstreet Boys.
No.
Really?
For the
For the-
80s, I'll go Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson's like the easy one.
Yeah, Michael Jackson. 70s, I want to go like maybe Elton John.
A lot of people said that.
Led Zeppelin? No, not Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin was topping the charts.
What about Pink Floyd?
Yeah, I don't think they're
70s.
top on the charts.
I know.
either.
the
Number one
Dark Side of
hits.
the Moon was number one on the charts forever, wasn't it?
Okay, 1970s was the Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees.
Oh, okay. I was thinking because it's usually pop. Like
Yeah.
that's Michael Jackson's the easiest one. So the 90s,
In the 90s, okay,
I want to say
Let me tell you,
like the Spice. No, was
she-
the 2000s the Spice Girls?
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
Ah.
She had 14 number one hits, which is vastly
Christ.
more than anyone else. In the 2000s,
NSYNC. These two,
Wait a minute.
2000.
Beyonce?
Oh,
she was number two.
Oh, okay.
Who was it?
Beyonce?
Beyonce.
Beyonce and Rihanna were number two.
For the 2000s. Huh.
You guys will never get it because like you guys don't listen to Usher.
Usher.
Who's
oh,
Usher?
Oh, yeah, I was
Usher
gonna say R.
seven.
Kelly, but I don't
Jesus
think he had a
H.
lot of. That makes sense. Although I don't know, I could name like maybe one of his songs. I know he's a crazy popular, but
Oh, absolutely.
has there ever been an artist? It's almost like a movie that you waited too long to see. Like I've never seen Avatar, and I'm never gonna go see it because I waited so long. Usher's like a musician that I've waited so long to. He's
know,
done
it's-
so much, and I've never heard or listened to him that I just feel like it's too much time has passed. And
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying, but like Usher is like not some like artist where you're like, well, at some point I'll get into Usher. Like I know some people who like missed the boat on Radiohead, and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna go back and like
Right.
listen to some
Yeah.
radio.
But I like knowing. I love music, and I like knowing music, and all
Yeah.
genres. Even if I don't like, I'm not gonna listen to it. But I like to. I'm not gonna listen to it like for pleasure, but I
Right.
like to listen to it, understand like why it was popular, and
Yeah,
and
totally.
Josh
Yeah, I can
Holub does
understand
not
that.
listen to music for pleasure. He listens to
I don't
to
do
it
anything. I don't
to
get
judge
pleasure out
them.
of everything. Anything. Nothing
break it
gives me
down
pleasure.
scientifically and decide whether I should like it.
Very
God damn it.
Very scientific mind I have.
It scores 51. I like it.
Very similarly, I finally saw the movie In Bruges. Have you seen that?
In Bruges. No, I know what that is, though.
It's so good. Like,
Great
and
film.
I feel like it's probably like 10 years since it came out. It's so good. But since you haven't seen it, like, let's move on.
Okay.
Well, should we talk about things that we've
bar?
seen, or
Oh, wait, do you wanna talk
do the
about
bar
movies?
first, or do you want to talk about? You want to plug stuff?
Do you usually do what movies you guys have seen?
I don't know what we usually do about now. What do we usually do right about
Usually
now?
about now. I'm about 2.5 drinks in. So
Yeah. This is the great part of the podcast because nobody's listening.
This is the part of the
no one has made it.
the
This
part of the podcast where I breathe
Let's do
heavy
something
and
really
puke into my coat.
crazy. Because it's the end, and we're sure that no one has made it this far. Let's do something. Hey guys, the Jews did 9/11.
No, it's supposed to be controversial. Something that everyone doesn't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
let's go around the table.
Not controversial. enough.
Andrew, what are you going to do for 9/11 this year? Because it falls on a Friday night.
Oh, Friday night. Well, geez. I mean, like,
Wow.
costume party, I guess.
What's the theme going to be this year? Confusion?
I think melting steel beams.
Oh.
You will forgive me if I forget your costume 9/11
I will not.
party.
You should never forget it.
Josh, what do you think of this bar? Do you want to keep doing like trivia questions?
Well, no. Like, we'll talk about the bar, and then we can talk about stuff we've seen, or yeah.
What do you want to
movies
talk
and
about?
television.
Not to get like all like haughty, but like Andrew, what the fuck do you want to talk about?
What do you have to say that's so fucking brilliant? Starring Jeff Cleary.
Well, I do. I'll say this: we were talking about 9/11.
That's a great lead.
big
lead
I'll
fan.
say this about 9/11.
Big fan. No, so my roommate / bartender here, we run an open mic here on Tuesdays, which is just a shit show, as you can start to hear from this bar, and we're on 6th Street.
The shit show at the Showdown.
And if you want to find out more information about that, you can find us on Facebook.com/The Real Truth About 9/11, and that is our official
Really?
website.
All right, we'll cut that out.
Ooh, controversial.
Actually, I know a good friend of ours who's been on the podcast. When 9/11 happened, he had the foresight to register all the domain names. 9/11 is an inside job.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I don't even
he didn't have the
believe that anyone
foresight.
could be that smart.
He didn't have the foresight to register
No, wait,
Michael
that-
Jackson, Elizabeth Taylor, and Marlon Brando drive
Actually-
out of 9/11.
It wasn't like right after 9/11. It was like when people started talking about inside job.
Right.
And then he was just
It was like as soon as 9/11 happened, he was like, "Oh, I gotta register these domain names."
Between building 1 and 2 going down, he's like, "Oh, I'm on
like,
Here's
this."
that plain hit.
Building 7.
He had
Hello,
Twitter
GoDaddy.com.
accounts at 9/11 inside job. They were all taken by one man who has a monopoly on all 9/11 related websites and web domains.
He's like,
Yeah.
"Hello, Squarespace. I know you don't exist yet." but-
He's the kingpin of like holding, like sitting on like
that
9/11.
would be like if instead of them stealing the sports almanac and Back to the Future 2, instead they warned them about 9/11 and went back and tried to do something about that. That would be
Cash in on it.
the equivalent of that.
Right, exactly. Like, wasn't like so I see this on Facebook all the time, where like very recently, like the date in like a Back to the Future where they traveled to
Yeah.
the future.
Actually, Doug Benson is coming to the Castro to like.
On that day. Isn't
On
that that's
that
this
day.
year, right?
Yeah. I think it's in October or something. Like
So like if they did travel,
October 15th, 2015. That's what it is.
so they did travel to that date and then went back. Wouldn't they just be like, "Hey, watch out for these terrorists"?
that. Yeah, you know
it
what?
would be after 9/11.
Instead, it was all about like clear Pepsi and like whatever
Give me a
horrible.
tab. All right, Andrew.
What if Back to the Future predicted 9/11?
That would.
That would be insane.
What if the terrorists saw it and were like such big fans of Back to the Future that the only reason they like blew it up is because they have
So
they,
what
they
you're
had to make
telling
it
me
happen.
is that Back to the Future is the reason for 9/11.
You heard
Because
you
I
heard
Well,
can kind of get behind that.
Specifically,
it-
Michael J. Fox, but
You
you know,
heard it here
indirectly.
heard it here
folks.
first. Like
If you stick around to the end of this podcast, Back to the Future is the reason for 9/11.
Back to
That's what's gonna stay on my headstone when I die.
Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah,
Bob
right.
Zemeckis.
Who was the answer to the first trivia question?
Call back.
Earlier. Wow, we're really tying this up like a perfect bow. You couldn't end this podcast. We should just burn this bar down now, actually.
Oh, we got to talk about the bar before we leave.
Okay.
Of course.
Well, I'm going to burn it down after this.
Andrew, what do you think of this bar?
I think there's an
so
adorable
cute.
dog that
An
just like
adorable
walked
dog
up
that's
to you.
walking
Like,
up to us right
like
now.
a pit bull dog that.
So a beautiful little like pit bull puppy just came
Yeah.
over to me. So I'm going to give this bar 1,000,000 stars. Andrew, what do you think of this bar?
I love it. It's it reminds me a lot of like what was the place we went with David Bory, like the Washington Inn or whatever.
Oh,
like
the Geary Club.
Geary Club, that's it.
never
Like
even
it sort
heard
of
of
reminds
that
me of that, like a slightly bigger version of that.
Bigger
but like,
version of that.
But I like it. It's a nice little spot.
Josh Holub, what is your final analysis, Phil Joannou, of this bar?
Of this bar, I love it because it's so strange on so many levels. Because it feels like a dive bar that you could just get a drink and chill out at, which I like.
Yeah.
But it's also in a neighborhood which scares most terrible people away
Don't
that
you-
I don't
Exactly,
like.
yeah. Like that's-
But it gets just enough business. And also, this neighborhood on 6th Street, it is not dangerous.
Do you live around here?
Yeah, I live off 6th Street. I live about 3 blocks away from here.
Wow, and you're still alive.
I am. It is not dangerous here at all. I'm telling you, no one gets robbed here. The only thing people are doing here, this is Skid Row. This is the Skid Row of San Francisco. People are coming here to score drugs, to shoot up, and to ask for money because they're too bogged, they're too out of their minds to even contemplate trying to rob someone. It's just uncomfortable. It's not
Right.
unsafe.
It's just sort of dodging rather than like
Yeah,
running
it's,
for
yeah,
your
it's
life.
weaving. It's certainly if you're an attractive woman, you're gonna get hollered at a lot. You
Sure,
know,
yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of that, cat calling and stuff. I see that a lot.
That's always a viewpoint that I forget. Like, as a over 6'6", like a person, a male person. Like usually when I'm like thinking about a neighborhood, I'm not thinking like I wonder if I'll get raped. so I understand like women might have a different viewpoint than I do as far as like whether a neighborhood is sketchy or not.
There actually is like a point you reach when you're like living in a neighborhood where you realize like the street sketch is keeping like the rents down.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, well, you know what? Like, I have a whole new appreciation for people who are asked out.
yeah. I have a whole new appreciation for people who don't care about their lives.
But then you buy something and then you're like, well, get rid of this. Like,
Yeah, I know. This wouldn't be San Francisco if there is. Look, they're opening up a CVS right across the street. This just is coming right now. It's gonna be a 24-hour CVS right in the corner here at 6th and Market, which
That
is,
company has no idea what they're doing.
yeah. But
Can you imagine if like you were like the best CVS manager and they're like, we're going to promote you, 6th and Market. They're like, where's that? I live in Toledo right now. Don't worry about it. Just move.
You're
This
in
is the next
downtown
area.
San
This is the
Francisco, the,
next
jewel
area.
of the West Coast.
It's so expensive to live there.
But yeah, so I like this bar.
And-
because
and
it's
you?
weird
Oh, thank you, Andrew. Yes, I like this bar very much. I have not been to Josh's open mic, but I want to very soon. Actually, like the bartender here has been like really fantastic to us, and we met the owner, who is
Yeah, Johnny
Johnny.
Vanetti. He's a great guy. Look, they do a lot of cool stuff here. It's a cool, one of the best happy hour bars in the area. That's where they probably get most of their business is happy hour.
How happy?
As happy as you, I'd say like probably a boner happy, like pretty happy.
Ooh, that's pretty happy.
I mean, I don't think you
Indeed.
can get much happier than that.
All right, do you want to sign off, or do you want like a few more trivia questions on the way out?
I got a few quick plugs.
All right, we'll see you next week.
All right. Damn it.
No, what are your plugs?
I want to plug the show Narcos on Netflix that is about our buddy in Colombia, Mr. Pablo Escobar.
Ooh,
Is it really that
like-
good?
You know what? Like
I've been on the fence
wait,
on
what's
it
it
to
called?
watch that one.
It's called Narcos. and it's they actually shot it in Colombia, and like the guy that plays Escobar, like, is this Brazilian actor. He's fucking great. Like, I guess he had to like learn Spanish with a Colombian accent. Like, he never, like, he speaks Portuguese, and like, but he does like a great like exactly. But no, it's you know what, like it's half great and half terrible, because like the whole plot is this like DEA agent or whatever like that, and like so all the parts with like Escobar and like the whole Colombian stuff is awesome. It's great, and then all the stuff with this cop like doing voiceovers. It's like you know, remember like a Blade Runner, like with
do I remember Blade Runner?
Like, well, no,
I think so.
With
Never heard of it.
with like Harrison Ford, like at the beginning of that movie, being like, cold fish sushi. That's what my wife called me. Like, you know, just that horrible sort of like,
voiceover
expository narration that's just unnecessary and like, poorly written. Like,
You know
all that's
that-
terrible. But like the rest of the show is like really watchable. I will say, like, it's not like Breaking Bad good or anything, but like it's it's
Then I don't
it's
need
fun.
to watch it. To me,
I
would like to make a plea for television to get back to 30-minute television shows, because there is so many hour-long TV shows now.
Yeah, it's true.
That
Yeah.
I just don't physically have the time to watch all these shows.
Like you really. I mean,
I
Yeah.
love it. I think the golden age of TV, as everyone says, I think that's maybe over, because now there's just an oversaturation of hour-long television shows that everyone has to watch. And
there will still be good and great things that come out, but like it's it'll just get
seems like there's
more
a
and more
lot
splintered,
of
like where it's like they're still just as good, but just fewer people watch them because there's like too many options. Like,
yeah, I mean, I certainly guess I hope they keep making them, but you know, I was a big Daredevil fan, and to watch House of Cards, or when Netflix puts out 13 hours of original programming onto the fucking internet in one night, and I feel like I have to, if I didn't spend my whole weekend watching it, then I can't enjoy myself at work on Monday, because everyone's going to be talking about it, and sorry, I had other things to do.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, all those
it is
people-
very daunting, sort of like
Yes.
to like have that dumped in your lap, like
It's like, who needs a girlfriend when you can just watch these hour-long programs?
Right.
I mean, there's a never-ending surplus of them now. I
Yeah.
just watched the new Walking Dead spin-off series, which was
I haven't seen it yet.
an hour-long episode, which was not worth it. And the new True Detective, I watched. I'm just watching the
Here we
first
go.
episode now.
Right.
And if it's not good, then
You're on thin ice, man.
How so? Were you a fan of that?
Everybody
He's like the only
everybody-
person I know
Everybody
that's, like,
hates the
defended it.
second season. And I think the second season is vastly underrated.
Well, I will say I only watched the first episode, and again,
Oh, well,
it
then
goes
give
back,
up on it.
It goes back to I watched the first episode. I spent an hour of my life watching it, and to me, it was like, do I want to spend another 4 hours in case it gets better?
I actually had
Because
that.
what if it doesn't? Then I'm in, and
Yeah.
now I'm screwed, and now I got to spend 13 hours watching it.
Right,
That's
right.
a half a day. That's a long time.
it is. Yeah.
Although, you know what's really weird, where it's like nowadays when I sit down to watch a 1-2 hour movie, I'm just like, oh god, 2 hours.
What
of
the
movie.
hell?
But like
Yeah.
if it's like a TV show I like,
It's
it's like
weird
it's
like
like
that.
22 hours. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, how does that not seem like a big deal?
Exactly.
That's a huge deal, and a huge, effort amount of your time that you're putting into it.
Although I did do that with one show recently, the Sense8 show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where it's like it's
The Wachowski
it
brothers,
looks
yeah.
so fucking beautiful and it's great, but like eight episodes into it, I'm just like, I totally don't give a shit. Like there's like 12 characters and like
Right.
3 of them are interesting, and I'm just like, fuck these people.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I never. I used to be like almost like obsessive compulsive about like if I started a show, I was gonna fucking see it
I was the
through
same
and
way.
like
I
yeah,
was the
and
same
like
way.
but like I can name like 5 or 6 shows just in the last year where I've gotten like 6 or 7 episodes in. I'm like, you know what? I don't give a
Yeah,
fucking
that's
shit
the
about
thing that's
this.
happening now.
Who cares magazine?
Yeah, exactly.
It was once it was Breaking Bad, and then when The Wire was like, oh, we
Yeah.
got to watch The Wire.
Right,
And
right.
we all did that.
Yeah.
I missed the boat on The Wire when it first came around, and then I spent 2 weeks of my life just tearing through 5
right.
seasons of an amazing, still my favorite show of all
Yeah,
time.
amazing.
And then that experience of I watched 5 seasons of The Wire in 2.5 weeks, like, I want that again. Give me another show. And slowly, each show gets a little bit less and a little bit less good.
Yeah.
And then you're spending 2 weeks watching, Mary Tyler Moore or something that's just not. It's,
I know.
Or like you get like 4 episodes into Wayward Pines or something like
yeah,
that. And
exactly.
You're like,
We're
ugh.
all right, this whole binge watching thing, maybe we're going a little too far with this now.
I know. I have a friend who, like, I called him and asked him what he was doing that night. He's like, "Yeah, I can't do anything tonight. I'm on the last season of Night Court."
All right, there you go. Drop the mic, end it. End your Netflix subscription.
Well,
just cut it off.
Don't let me ruin the ending for you.
I'm on the last Gordon Jump season of WKRP, and I can't be interrupted. Don't tell me how it ends.
All right, so thumbs up for this bar, Andrew.
Sure, why not?
Josh.
Yes.
Oh, Josh, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, I do a show here first Wednesday of every month at 9 o'clock. It's a fantastic show. I'm really proud of it. I picked 3 of my favorite comedians from the Bay Area. Come here, let them do long sets. We got drink specials. It's a really fun show. And then I do an open mic every Tuesday night here, which you kind of feel weird about inviting people to an open mic because we talked about earlier.
But like I said, it's the open mics are the best.
It's the best, worst thing that you could do on a Tuesday night.
All right, we'll cut that out. Andrew, you have anything to promote?
No.
All right, so here we go.
Don't go see Avengers Age of Ultron. That movie sucks.
Download it for free. All right, so here
I'll plug. I've been watching the new David Simon TV show. Show Me a Hero.
Show Me a Hero. I love that.
Amazing.
I've seen the first 2 episodes. I absolutely love
it. I'm slow watching it because there's only 6 episodes and I want to enjoy it. I've been watching Rick and Morty.
It's such a
that's the best show ever.
Like, it's such a great, sort of reminder of, what David Simon does really well, which is just, throw you 1,000 characters, and, somehow you actually kind of care about most of them.
And there's amazing actors in that show, and it's just really well done. I'm to the point now where if there's a good show, I don't want to binge watch it. I want to enjoy it. I want to stretch it out.
All right, so trivia is going to take us out.
Okay.
Josh, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's awesome, thanks.
Andrew,
this is fun.
Thank you for showing up.
Oh, thanks.
All right,
Thank you for being on your podcast.
We'll do this very fast. This is the specialty round. Celebrity spouses. I'll give you one celebrity. You tell me who they're married to.
Ooh.
David Bowie.
Iman.
Wait, what was the question?
Who are they married to?
Who are they married to? Okay.
Harrison Ford.
Ally McBeal.
Ally McBeal.
Oh.
Or Callista Flockhart,
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Matthew Broderick.
Yes, exactly.
Still, yeah,
and what a lucky man he is because he gets to have sex with Alf every night. Danny DeVito.
Rhea Perlman from Cheers.
There you go. Melanie
Long-lasting marriages by Hollywood standards. What was the last name?
Melanie Griffith.
Melanie Griffith. She's still married to... Oh,
Desperado.
What's his name?
Anthony
Banderas.
Antonio Banderas.
Yes. Josh. William H. Macy.
Felicity Huffman.
Really?
Felicity Huffman. Kevin Bacon.
Or as Stephen Colbert called the celebrity couple, Philliam H. Muffman.
I'm so excited about that new show. I've been missing Colbert in my life.
Yeah, totally.
Kevin Bacon.
I know what
Kira
her
Sedgwick.
face is, but
Kira Sedgwick. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Ooh, Christopher Guest.
I could not.
Really?
When I was researching this and I saw that, I was like, wait, Christopher Guest is straight?
Also, how did she never end up in a Christopher Guest movie then?
I know, yeah. Like it must be lots of tension there where it's you're a really talented actress, but you're just not right for this.
Right, yeah.
Warren Beatty.
Annette Bening.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the one that nobody got, Bridget Fonda.
Bridget Fonda. I know this. But if you want to continue to try to guess,
this is like an older actor, I think. Older than.
She's not married to. I know this.
No,
Yeah.
but she is married to a musician, correct?
Correct.
She's married to Danny Elfman, I
She's
believe.
married to Danny Elfman.
Wow.
That's
You
a walk-off.
That's
I'm
a
not-
good pull right
I
there.
have no idea how I knew that.
Josh, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Andrew,
This was fun.
We'll see you guys next week.